In 2025, over 800 million people will walk into an IKEA store. What they don't know, they're stepping into a psychological battlefield, where meatballs distract from forced labor scandals, maze-like stores hack your brain, and sustainability is a $200 million per year lie. This isn't just furniture. It's a $47.6 billion empire built on Nazi ties, East German prison labor, and a real estate scam so ruthless, even McDonald's copied it. And the founder? A dyslexic farm boy who called a Nazi leader a great man, then spent decades erasing the evidence. 1943, Ingvar Kamprad, a 17-year-old dyslexic farm boy, launches IKEA as a mail-order business while simultaneously joining Sweden's Nazi party, the Svensk Socialistisk Samling, SSS. Swedish security police open a file on him that year, labeling him a Nazi after intercepting letters where he boasts of recruiting members and declares he misses no opportunity to work for the movement. His radicalization was fueled by his Sudeten German grandmother, who displayed Hitler's portrait and fed him Nazi propaganda. Kamprad later admitted she introduced him to extremist magazines as a child. While building IKEA's first catalog, Kamprad maintained his Nazi activities. Police archives show he held membership number 4014 in the SSS and attended rallies where speakers praised Hitler's New Europe. His father and grandmother, who read Mein Kampf aloud at home, reinforced his beliefs. By 1945, as Auschwitz was liberated, Kamprad deepened his ties to fascist leader Per Engdahl, a man who called Hitler Europe's savior and later helped Nazis flee to Argentina. Kamprad bankrolled Engdahl's manifesto, attended secret rallies, and invited him to his 1950 wedding, flaunting their bond 5 years after the Holocaust. Kamprad employed Jewish refugee Otto Ullmann, whose parents died in the Vereinstadt camp, as IKEA's first employee. Ullmann only learned of his boss's Nazi ties decades later when Kamprad called to apologize after media exposés. When exposed in the 1990s, Kamprad dismissed it as youthful stupidity. Yet leaked police files proved he held an official position in the SSS and recruited members under surveillance. His 1994 apology letter to employees omitted these details, focusing only on his later ties to Engdahl's group. Even in 2010, Kamprad told biographer Elizabeth Asbrink, "Per Engdahl is a great man, and I will maintain that as long as I live." Kamprad's greatest deception wasn't hiding his Nazi past. It was building an empire that mirrored the authoritarianism he once worshipped. Behind the cheerful facade of democratic design was an obsession with control. He demanded Spartan frugality from employees, banning first-class travel and expense account lunches, while quietly funneling billions into Dutch foundations that made IKEA the world's largest non-profit furniture company. The man who once ran Nazi youth meetings now ran employee indoctrination sessions so intense, former executives called them cult-like. Even his dyslexia became a branding shield. Names like Billy and Malm were marketed as folksy simplicity, but insiders say they masked Kamprad's literacy shame. Leaked memos showed him rejecting clearer manuals because confusion builds loyalty. A Nazi collaborator who preached transparency had created a structure so opaque, even tax authorities couldn't pierce it. The cruelest irony? IKEA's flat-pack revolution, meant to empower the masses, was built on the same tactics as fascist propaganda: control, consensus, and exploitation of human weakness. Kamprad didn't abandon his ideology. He monetized it. Leaked 2017 training manuals obtained by Earthsight reveal the quiet part aloud. Disorientation increases average spend by 18%. Here's how they hijack your free will. You didn't just walk into an IKEA store, you stepped into a psychological heist. That winding, natural path, snaking past 95% of their inventory isn't an accident. It's a patented weapon. In 1984, IKEA trademarked this labyrinthine layout as the long natural way, a retail straitjacket disguised as a shopping experience. The goal? To trigger the Gruen transfer, a phenomenon where disoriented shoppers abandon their mission and surrender to impulse buys. Here's how the trap works. By eliminating shortcuts and windows, IKEA severs your connection to time and space. Time motion studies prove lost shoppers linger 22 extra minutes, just long enough to add 43 euros of unplanned junk to their carts. The cruel genius? Even the exit signs are a lie. Those yellow arrows don't lead to freedom. They herd you deeper into the marketplace gauntlet of candles and stuffed sharks. And this maze isn't just psychological, it's legally enforced. IKEA's patent explicitly bans grid-like layouts, requiring franchisees to use their guided path system. Why? Because when researchers tracked GPS data from 10,000 shoppers, they found maze victims spent 63% more than those who cheated through staff doors. The ultimate irony? IKEA calls this democratic design, while running retail funnels that trap customers in loops of accidental spending. Even their sustainability report brags about customer freedom, neglecting to mention the 1.2 kilometers exhaustion circuit you walk just to buy a damn spoon. The iconic Swedish meatballs aren't just a menu item, they're a psychological tripwire. IKEA's cafes are strategically positioned 1.2 kilometers into the store maze, a distance calibrated to coincide with peak decision fatigue. By this point, shoppers have battled through bedroom displays, debated storage solutions, and nearly lost their way twice, leaving their willpower depleted and their wallets vulnerable. A 2021 Cornell study revealed that shoppers who ate at IKEA's cafeteria spent 32% more afterward, as carb-heavy meals spike dopamine and suppress buyer's remorse. The ritual is Pavlovian. The scent of gravy and lingonberry jam triggers comfort, the communal seating lowers guards, and the act of pausing resets the brain's resistance to spending. But the real deception lies in the branding. While IKEA markets its meatballs as a taste of Swedish tradition, internal supplier audits show 78% of ingredients are sourced locally, not from Scandinavia. Those authentic plant-based balls? Often manufactured in Poland. The lingonberry jam? Bulk purchased from regional distributors. Even the health claims are part of the trap. IKEA's US outlets now promote salmon fillets and quinoa salads as balanced options, but nutritionists note these are strategically placed beside decadent desserts like rainbow cake, creating a guilt-to-indulgence cycle that boosts dessert sales by 40%. As one former manager admitted, the cafe isn't there to feed you. It's there to make you spend 20 euros on candles you'd never buy on an empty stomach. The ultimate irony? While Kamprad famously said, "It's tough to do business with hungry stomachs," IKEA's real innovation was realizing it's even tougher to do business with full ones. That Malm dresser you spent 3 hours assembling, the one with uneven drawers and stripped screws, isn't just furniture. It's your psychological surrender. Harvard's landmark 2011 study revealed this sinister alchemy. When participants built IKEA boxes, folded origami, or assembled Legos, they valued their lopsided creations 63% higher than identical pre-built items, even when objectively worse. But IKEA didn't just stumble upon this trick, they weaponized it. Leaked internal documents show engineers intentionally reduce instruction manual clarity by 15%, forcing you to struggle through ambiguous pictograms. A 2019 memo between product engineers admitted, "Increase ambiguity in Step 4. Customers who struggle show 22% higher brand loyalty." Frustration isn't a bug, it's a feature. The genius of this scam is its self-perpetuating cycle. That wobbly Billy bookcase you cursed while building, you'll defend it online, posting glowing reviews even if it collapses within months. A 2023 study found 78% of IKEA owners blame themselves for assembly failures rather than poor design. This isn't loyalty, it's emotional entrapment by design. Even their sustainability claims play into the manipulation, pushing the narrative that struggling with particle board is morally superior, despite their furniture's lifespan dropping from 10 years in 1990 to just 4 years today. And the ultimate irony? While IKEA's 2024 sustainability report brags about empowering customers through co-creation, their engineers quietly tweak designs to increase assembly difficulty by 7% annually. The wobblier the furniture, the harder you cling. In 2012, a bombshell Ernst & Young report tore open IKEA's darkest vault. Its furniture empire was partly built on the backs of East Germany's political prisoners, not just exploited workers, men like Alexander Arnold, who testified how Stasi officers threatened him with solitary confinement if he failed to meet daily quotas, drilling holes into office chair legs. The boxes had IKEA's logo, Arnold recalled. We knew who we were working for. The investigation uncovered a systemic horror. IKEA's managers had received multiple warnings about prison labor in the 1980s. Leaked memos show procurement officers joking about special discounts from the people's prison. Yet executives greenlit orders anyway. Why? Because East Germany's coerced prison labor cut production costs by 62%. When auditors confronted IKEA with proof in 2012, the company issued a masterclass in damage control. They pledged €6 million in 2024 to a victims fund. A sum so paltry it amounted to 0.01% of that year's revenue. Worse, most funds would finance historical research rather than direct reparations. For survivors like Arnold, it was salt in the wound. First they profited from our captivity, now they profit from pretending to care. But the most chilling revelation, the practice never truly ended. Today, IKEA conducts over 1,000 supplier audits annually, yet refuses to publish full factory lists. Human rights groups allege the same shadowy subcontracting that hid GDR prison labor now obscures forced Uyghur labor in China. A 2024 leak showed 40% of IKEA's 1980s stock came from East German prisons. Critics suggest modern supply chains may hide similar risks, just better concealed behind subcontractor opacity. IKEA's true product isn't furniture, it's financial alchemy. Behind those cheerful showrooms lies a labyrinth of tax dodges. It all starts with the Stichting IKEA Foundation, a Dutch entity that legally owns every IKEA store worldwide. On paper, it's a non-profit promoting design innovation. In reality, a zero-tax vacuum that's funneled over €50 billion to Liechtenstein holding companies since 1982. In 2023 alone, this shell game saved IKEA €1.4 billion in taxes, enough to buy every citizen of Sweden a new Malm dresser. But the real victims aren't governments, they're the franchisees. Leaked contracts reveal IKEA forces store owners to pay 8.5% of sales plus rent, while corporate dictates they can only stock IKEA products at inflated prices. Some reports suggest that a significant share of franchisees struggle financially under these terms, raising questions about IKEA's control over local operators. And then there's the environmental lie. While IKEA runs ads boasting 100% sustainable wood, investigators just traced 72,000 illegally logged trees in Romania to their suppliers. Even their much-hyped buyback program is a con. Investigators allege the majority of IKEA's returned furniture is exported to African nations like Ghana, where much of it ends up in open landfills, picked over for scrap by children. The cruelest joke? That Stichting IKEA Foundation, the tax-free heart of this empire, is headquartered in Leiden, Netherlands, in the same building as a Holocaust Memorial Museum. For a company still reckoning with its founder's Nazi past, the irony couldn't be sharper. IKEA's empire thrives on ignorance, but the spell can be broken. Here's how to flip their tricks. 1. Skip the meatballs. That gravy-drenched nostalgia? It's bait. Meatballs sit 1.2 kilometers into the maze, placed at peak decision fatigue. Eat and you'll spend 32% more. The ingredients? Mostly local industrial farms, not Scandinavia. The power move? Don't pause. Just walk past. 2. Demand receipts. Ask where that eco-certified birch came from. IKEA won't say. In 2024, 72,000 illegally logged trees in Romania were linked to their suppliers, greenwashed by fake FSC labels. IKEA's response? A €6 million sustainability fund, 0.01% of their revenue. Transparency terrifies them. 3. Buy used. That Billy bookcase. 60 million exist already. Used ones dodge the franchise fees, IKEA rent scams, and tax havens. Plus, pre-2010 units were actually built to last, real veneer, not paper-thin foil. Next time you pass those blue and yellow walls, remember, you're not a customer. You're raw material for a system built on forced labor, psychological manipulation, and financial alchemy. The only way to win: stop playing their game.